Hey, thanks very much. And Neiman, welcome back. A big fight coming up, obviously, this Saturday. John Fitch has been around the sport for a long, long time. He's fought for titles in multiple promotions. What does a win over him represent to you in your career?
I think it's pretty special for me. It's pretty nice because I've been watching him for a long time, and I kind of knew that we were going to fight at one time in my career, because when I started fighting at the other show that I used to fight, I think on my first or second fight, he was on the main event of the card. So when I was starting to fight, he was already at the top, and I was looking up to him and saying, "Hey, I think I can beat this guy." But it took a couple of years for us to meet each other, and I think it couldn't be better. This is the best time to meet him, and it's gonna be great. I can't wait for this fight.
Obviously, in the lead up to this fight, we've got a pandemic going on, a lot of gym closures, a lot of difficulty traveling. How has that impacted your training camp this time out?
Actually, it didn't impact. I would say, it was actually a better experience this time because I had the gym just for me. I kind of did like the boxing guys do, that they have a camp just for them, instead of being on a gym which 10 other guys are fighting at the same time and you have your coaches taking care of you and other guys. So I had the camp just for myself, and everything was focused on me. And I think that was a great experience. And I think I'm in one of the best shapes mentally, physically, and spiritually in my career.
And you've been out for just over a year now. With the time away, I mean, did you want to get back in sooner? Was there more of a reason for this layoff? What did you do with the time when you were out?
Yeah, I was supposed to fight in December, and a week before the fight, I broke my hand, and that was really bad because I was really ready for that fight. So that injury was a little trouble. It took a little while to heal, and then they scheduled me to fight in June, and all this madness started happening. So it didn't happen when I wanted to happen. I wanted to come back earlier, but it is what it is, and I'm very grateful to be back right now.
Well, glad to have you back. Looking forward to this weekend.
Thank you.
Steve?
Am I live?
Yep.
Ethan, thank you for the time, and it's always good to talk to you. And I want to know, since it's already been mentioned on the call earlier, that you and John Fitch have a common opponent in Rory MacDonald, and he was asked if he could pick up anything on how to fight you from watching that fight. So I would pose the same question back to you. Could you pick up anything from seeing his fight with Rory that you can use when you fight him?
Yeah, definitely. I think from every fight that a fighter has, you can watch the fight and pick up a couple of things. So definitely, I can pick up a couple of things, especially standing up, and a couple on the floor too. So yeah, I don't like watching videos too much on my opponents, but yes, I had a pretty good game plan to fight him.
And we've seen the game plan that you execute work almost flawlessly against everyone, especially when fights go to the ground. So when you think back on that Rory MacDonald fight that you had, is there any one thing that you wish you could do that fight over and change it to have it go more your way?
Yes, I think it's something that I will do on this fight, which is not allowing the guys to stay on top of me for so long. Even though I'm on the bottom, I'm the one attacking more. I'm the one almost finishing the fight, which was the case against the fight against Rory. If you watch the fight, I fought from the bottom, but I was the one trying to finish the fight. I almost got an arm bar, a knee bar, and many other attacks. So the judges in MMA, they don't see the guy on the bottom winning. Doesn't matter what they do. So I kind of learned that from that fight, and now I'm gonna do my best not to allow them to stay on top of me, doing nothing and waiting for the time to pass by, And I think that's what John Fitch does best, and that's what he's going to try to do.
All right, one more for me, Neiman, and then I'll let you go. If this fight goes your way, which you seem very confident of right now, is it a title shot after this with Douglas Lima?
Yes, I think so. I think it's John Fitch is it's ranked pretty well, especially right now in his career. He's coming from a lot of wins, and he's coming from a draw against the other champions. So I think, yes, if I beat him on Saturday and if I beat him convincingly, especially, I should get the title shot next.
It's always a pleasure, Neiman. We look forward to your fight on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Neiman, one of the big questions was, in that fight against Rory MacDonald, you said, you were trying your best in the bottom, trying to finish with submissions. Was it mentally, did it mentally hurt when you lost that fight? Like, did you take, was it a setback, or did you just move forward from that?
It was a little setback, not because I lost the fight only, but because it was a title fight. So I really wanted that title, and I wanted to have the title at home in Madison Square Garden, New York. And that hurt because I didn't get the belt, So if I lose any other fight, it wouldn't be as bad as losing a title fight. So yes, but I got over it pretty quick thanks to my jiu-jitsu days. I competed a lot, I lost a lot, and I win a lot. So I know how to win and how to lose, and I learned a lot from that fight.
How has the 1 year layoff affected you? Has it been a positive effect, or has it been a little bit of a slow climb back?
I think it was a positive effect. I was ready to fight in December. I was in great shape, but I got injured, and I couldn't come back earlier. It was positive because I kept training this whole time. Even when I had the cast on my hand, I kept training with one hand and kicks, So I never stopped training. I love training, and I kept training and evolving and getting better.
One last thing is, if if Douglas Lima goes up to fight Gegard Mousasi for the middleweight championship, do you possibly see yourself? I know Bellator hasn't done it, but fighting for an interim belt in the future.
Yes, I don't want an interim belt, So if Bellator puts up an interim belt, I'll do it. But it's not what I want. So, but it is what it is,
Carlos? All right, moving on to Trevor.
Hey, Neiman, a quick question about your evolution of MMA. You're extremely credentialed in grappling, but back since 2013, what has been the biggest learning curve in getting into the sport of MMA as a fighter?
I think it was learning that MMA is different from other martial arts. So what I mean by that is that MMA is not jiu-jitsu, MMA is not wrestling, MMA is not boxing or any other thing. So if you're really good at jiu-jitsu, that doesn't mean that your jiu-jitsu is going to be good in MMA. If you're really good at wrestling, it doesn't mean that your wrestling will be really good in MMA. So I find that MMA is a different sport, and that's actually really good for me because I've been doing this sport for a long time, and now I consider myself an MMA fighter. So I'm ready to take down wrestlers. I'm ready to fight any grappling fight that could come into me, and I'm ready to box any boxer actually in MMA.
And just going back on that, what has been like the proudest moment so far in your fighting career that you look back on that you're most proud of? Out of your extremely impressive record and all these fights, what makes you the proudest as a fighter?
I think was my debut, because it took me a will to leave jiu-jitsu behind and look for something different. So I think my debut was something that makes me proud of, and to see where I am today from where I was when I first had my first fight, it makes me really happy to see that all the hard work that I've been putting, it's working.
Kevin?
I already answered my questions.
Rick?
Yep. Neiman, my question is, after you win this fight, what else do you want to prove if you get the title shot coming up against part 2 with Douglas Lima? What is your next what is your next motivation to give out to the fans to know that you can win this fight?
I want to prove that I am the best welterweight in the world, and that I am the best in the world, and I want to prove that I deserve to have that world champion in my record.